This is indeed a
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Saturday, January 5th, 2019. Folks, we got a couple new Q drops here. Again, welcome to the Patriot Tech. This is the Patriot Hours 2.0 channel backup. We are going live for this and recording simultaneously. We got Ben and Woodman in beaming into the show here, but I'm going to read this Q post that dropped. Let me try to... All right, so we got some of this 1933 paramilitary wing of the Communist Party of Germany. And then we got the 2017 paramilitary wing of the Democratic Party. Look how very similar these are. So we got a Twitter here. Clashes in hashtag Paris as hashtag yellow vest protests continue for the 8th week in a row. See some civil unrest. They're kicking and pushing and beating with batons and looks like a bad situation. Complete blackout by the fake news media. So there's been a complete blackout of this on the media, folks. Ask yourself why. Are they afraid of the U.S. patriots engaging in these same kind of tactics? Did the liberal left, the old guard, engage and form organizations such as Antifa to combat and silence fascism? Any such deviation of the controlled narrative? Do actions of these patriots abroad destroy the fake news narrative regarding majority agree with the policies of the liberal left? We will not go silent into the night. We will not go without a fight. Do you believe this movement and the worldwide events are simply a coincidence? Divided, you are weak. Together, you are strong. We the people have the power. The executive order is now active. Where we go one, we go all. All right, we're going to bring in Ben and... Okay, hold on here. Give me a minute. I don't know what happened. Oh, let me do this. All right. Can you guys hear?
Comms are up on my end. Mr. Woodman, how we doing over there?
Saying, camo check, audio check, 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 check.
All right, we're good.
Yes, sir.
So what'd you
Yes,
guys
sir.
think of that last little article there?
Go ahead, Woodman. What are you thinking?
Well, you know, it's true. They got to put a blanket on that because, listen, you know, Americans are starting to figure out that, hey, they can change things. You know what I mean? And by watching that, by watching that, help them get organized in a proper manner. You know, what do you think?
I would agree. I think you look at those pictures just comparatively that what was happening when we were supporting the Nazi and you look to the left, and this was what's happening in Germany and anti-fascism. Then you look to the right, it's almost mirroring. They're taking the same logo and turning. In fact, here's German anti-fascist and Echtan, which is basically in English anti-fascist call to action. I mean, the flag is exactly the same. Look at that.
Yep.
Very interesting. I mean,
nationalists not welcome. That's one of their stickers. And you think about it, I mean, nationalists, that's just being proud of the nation you live in. That you can live in any nation on God's earth, and you could be proud of where you live and what you are and how and that your local community. That's what a nationalist is. You're proud of the nation that you reside in or you come from, and there's nothing wrong with that. When you attach a verb or an action
anything
word
in front of it, right?
In front of that,
White
that's you're identifying.
You know, or those are bad. We agree, but right now we see you're like Trump. He has come out. I'm a patriot. I'm about this country, the U.S. First, let's start here. Let's fix our own misdealings around if we have facets of our government engaging in things. We're going to start here. We're going to fix the issues here that can fix a lot of things naturally just by cutting our own ties. But are you a globalist? Are you a nationalist? Globalism or nationalism? What are the differences? You know, I mean, Ben, if you're going to explain it to the people here.
Well, it's quite simple. I mean, you know, a nationalist enjoys sovereignty of one's nation, good solid borders, the walls, rule of law under, oh yes, love the cup, where a globalist is the idea of like the European Union, a bunch of countries giving up their sovereignty and their borders and giving up the rule of its sovereignty to a small group of people. And so nobody wants to give up their sovereignty and their fences and things like this. So the fundamental difference is one has borders and sovereignty and one does not. One is only would be part of the state. We wouldn't own anything, and the private property would be a thing of the past when it comes to globalism.
I agree. So, Woodman, what is your take on the government shutdown situation right now?
First of all, I want to make a little comment about what Trump said a while ago, and I'm going to mess this up a little bit. He said that we have a different government now, different than anybody's seen. First of all, I have to throw that in there, you know. What was the question again, Mike?
On the shutdown right now, what is your take on it? What day are we on that, Ben? Like 13? Maybe we can check.
I don't know exactly. Is it day 13?
Somewhere around there.
13 or 14. One of the commenters, I'm pretty sure, on the live chat is going to let us know the exact number.
You guys let us know that number.
I think it's fantastic he's doing that. Problem is Trump is starting to hit him in the face about realizing how many nuts he has to deal with in the political realm. You know what I mean? He can only do so much at one time, even though he's got the right stuff going in the mind. Nobody's 100% perfect, but you know, they're doing everything in their power to shut him down, no matter what it is. So I'm proud of him for standing his ground myself.
Well, I would imagine too. I think my mic's dying again. I don't think this battery was.
No worries.
Solution here.
No worries. We'll hold it down. Well, it's interesting you say that, Woodman, because we know that everybody during the shutdown, you may not be getting paid week to week. A lot of what the 80 to 90%, or I could say about 80% of the budget was done October, November. We're talking the main infrastructure, mission critical, mission essential, governmental. That was taken care of. This part here, I would agree with him standing his ground in the shutdown, because very critically, it shows one that we're not going to get by with terminology and word porn or this he wants a barrier. And
Well,
the one
the
lady
bigger
was
thing
saying
is doing it right.
Yes.
He could have came in like, even before Trump, these military good patriots embedded into our system were seeing treasonous acts, and they could have just took arrested people overnight, Obama, whatever. That would have created a huge outpour into our community because nobody was seeing that going on. Everyone was following this mainstream narrative of everything's peachy clean, nothing's being done wrong. So now Trump comes in, and you have the right to shut down these agencies, and just, everyone's like, he has a right to do that. Well, they thought about it. They thought, if we do this, shut this down, shut that down, and then clean them, not reopen them until we get good people back in, it looks bad. And so they're doing it organically. It's taking a while because they have to show organically by putting in paperwork, Tom Fitton over there, then it gets released. It's almost like it's showing their own crimes little by little. It's painting a really huge portion of our history, I think, getting ready to come up here to expose all this. But it's almost like the only way to do it without creating, and I think in the end there still will be some of these pockets of people outraged and upset, whatever. We're going to have riots in certain places. But man, oh man, I don't know.
Well, some of those are going to be naturally occurring, and also some of it's going to be stimulated by certain people. Also, that's the bad thing right there. When you get so many people planted all over the place and stuff, and then let's just say you plug it into the wall and give a little electricity to it. Wow, that makes a big, So
I agree. What do you
No,
think
I
on
agree.
that?
And well, we can also see what's brewing as we speak. Yes, there's a narrative right now that there are military tribunals that's currently going on in certain areas. We also can see that there is an influx of quote unquote a new caravan or a new mass of individuals being created as an influx to come up and hit the southern border again. And so we know that we've said this before, even before the executive order went active January 1st of this year, that martial law period is either for insurrection or invasion. And so if you have our president calling for an invasion, big things are happening during this governmental shutdown. Like you said, Mike, things could be cleaning house. This could be another faction of the draining of the swamp, because there could be some more internal policies or EOs that are in effect during the shutdown. And if you're not mission critical, and what would you think? He said that, well, it could be national security and a national emergency due to national security at the border, at the southern border. And so there's many different ways it could do this, but obviously you wanted to come out where the most amount of sheeple or the most amount of the public are going to be wanting and easing into this rather than a huge punch in the face and the shock, because that will create, like you said, both of you guys said, pockets of insurrection, pockets of rioting, because of they feel that they weren't heard or they wanted a certain narrative, but it doesn't happen.
And put it this way, you guys, if you had somebody come into this system in this one fell swoop like he did and win it over, beat the complete geared system that typically ends up with, no matter if it's Republican, Democrat, their guy sitting there 8 months before the election or 5 months, and they already know they have it in the win because each of those people are in their pockets. Their system won, their propaganda machine to prop up their two candidates or whatever to give us the illusion of we're winning our guy. So if that all happened and you knew you were going to do it in this manner, expose things, you must have thought all of it out really well, because with the least amount of it's a shock and awe we're going to flip these people's world upside down because they've been getting lied to by a huge system. And nobody wants to come up and just shock you. I mean, we used to be about that shock theater, or, you try to debate somebody, and the minute you jumped into, the Clintons take the babies and they do this, it's like, oh, whoa, guy. It's like some people that don't know any of that. That's not the proper place to start and hit them. Mm-hmm. Let's expose some of these treasonous crimes, things against, that are easier to work on and show people that they haven't been leading you so right. And then when you hear
Well,
about some of these other things, it's like, well, that makes sense now. Why they were doing this stuff over here to be able to create disasters over there. It all kind of makes sense to you, maybe.
Well, another thing to also keep in mind is that when we talk about this and people treasonous acts and military tribunals and treasonous acts can still be charged for those who have been pardoned. So let's say how many pardons were in the last administration? Oh, the Obama pardoned this person, that person. But military tribunals and treason goes way above and beyond. You can still, that pardon is a brush away. You can still be hemmed up for that, and that pardon won't take place. So that's another critical reason why this executive order came into play. And we're talking about national security, and we're talking about treasonous behavior. That term and even those charges that are being brought up against these particular people are like the kill switch for everything that they thought they got away with or got pardoned for, got pushed under the rug. All that's going to get swooped back up because who they got protected from before no longer stands on authority now.
Something that's come up. We don't have much fact, but it is like, did Obama pardoned some of these people on his outgoing, some of the stuff we haven't seen yet, some really crazy stuff that just cleared, and that's
secretive
pursuing stuff. Yeah. So that could be the case, and that would make huge sense. So I'm looking for any updates here.
What they've done was made everything kind of like softer in the public's eye.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Well,
I would agree.
Whether it was a huge coordinated effort, it seems like they were, some of the departments at that point were just trying to cover for their own, to not go down in the mud so bad. You know, like if it was Comey, he wanted to keep his job title and it to go down in the history books a real proper way. So at that point, they started all boasting for their own. But maybe there's this huge thing over here that took place, pardons. So therefore, without saying it, you just have to play this weird part out in the public, and it doesn't quite make sense to anybody.
I have a question to both you guys.
Yes.
How many pardons do you think has been on the books, and how many have you heard about? And think about that, the number. Anybody can guess on that one?
Well, a lot of you're right. There's a lot of public pardons where a lot of people are on death row or things of this nature or jail time, and there's a lot of public pardons, and we've seen those in multiple administrations. But you bring up a really good point, Woodman, when I talk about secretive or behind closed doors executive pardons for crimes that we didn't even know they committed, nor do we have any idea or clue they were pardoned for them all behind the scenes. And this, not only executive order that we were talking about, but amongst other things, could address that very issue.
Correct. It's crazy,
Right.
isn't it?
Is my mic a little louder now or still really low?
You're good. I can hear you good now, brother.
All right. People were saying
Aren't
it was
we
low.
in martial law because of that terrorist act?
Patriot Act on the 14th of September of 2001, we put the Patriot Act into effect. Then we got enhancements to the NDAA and the military tribunals.
All while under a state of war,
Yes.
because we declared war on terrorism, which is technically a congressional act, and we got approval by Congress, and therefore we are operating under a state of war.
Exactly. And has that changed?
No, it has not. We are still in 2019. They have not taken away the congressional act of war on terrorism.
So think about
Because
that.
you're right, because terrorism could be domestic, abroad. What is terrorism? Human trafficking, crimes against children. You're terrorizing a child. That term terrorism is so umbrella, and it can be a bunch of different things.
Like
that
human rights, like the human rights
Yes.
abuse executive order that covers trafficking of, just a vast umbrella of things.
Yes. So with these happening, are we seeking for justice? Always. I think everybody
I'll
here
put up
on
the
this
numbers.
channel.
I'll put up the numbers
Okay.
for pardons. Now, those are the public pardons. We don't know if there was any done in veil of
Well,
secrecy.
Well, there are always executive pardons that we never know about.
Yes.
tons of them. Tons
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
what I'm saying. That's almost
They can't,
impossible.
they can't make them public. If they
Yes.
made every one of them public, all of a sudden now you can't have nobody had faith in anybody before they organized or restructured it.
Yes, I would agree.
It fall apart. I would like to say something too. This is something I didn't really think about till last night, but you know, uh, both you and Mike, Benjamin,
Hmm.
and myself, we're veterans, and we have a
Yes.
way of communicating. We have a way of communicating, and we talk certain ways and yada 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 because we know how to get the point across to, let's just say, another veteran. I'm going to apologize because there's civilians out there that maybe we're not quite connecting properly or with a, not using the words that they could absorb. You know what I mean? Like you can with a vet. You
Hmm.
know. I apologize, everybody. So if that makes any sense. Or,
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
it makes perfect sense, brother. We this is something that we try as well to always get. It's hard to formulate all these ideas that we have here. Not only the Patriot, the team, all this information, and get it out to an ingestible level, I guess you can say. And I think that's where a lot of our supporters and a lot of the subscribers, they actually enjoy the fact that we kind of have a little bit of a military speak when we get stuff out, because we don't want to really beat around the bush, and we're not here to kind of fluff stuff up. We're here to kind of expose the darkness, get the truth out, and push forward. And if you're wrong, I'm wrong. You get corrected. You wipe yourself up, and you keep marching forward. And I think a lot of civilians out there really actually enjoy that kind of mentality, because they can apply that to multiple aspects of their lives, where we had it applied more of a physical aspect, more so than a way of thinking.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
No, I agree. Some of the hardest. Well, we got a new queue update. Let's get into this. So it's a repost
right.
of the last one. It's a repost of the 2645, all of that. And then we get down here. Do you notice any similarities? D's attempt to turn the public against our police, ICE agent, and those who continually serve the public interest. Protect. Open borders with no immigration and customs officials to safeguard the people. European Union government attempt to turn the police against the people regarding yellow vest protest. Police versus the people. _ European Union. Democrats' attempts to sway public versus the police and the ICE. So what they're talking about here is like some of the Democrats, they want to abolish ICE and some of these agencies that protect the border. It's crazy.
The next ones are huge.
A war against globalism. We just got done talking about that. A war to retain sovereignty. Divide those who police and safeguard against the people they are sworn to protect. Chaos.
Correct.
Make the people fight themselves versus original targets. The old guard. Fake news. So instead of fighting at the people that are creating all this, because we do have a fraction of society that ends up being really brainwashed, and they think that globalism is better than sovereignty.
Our sovereignty, yes.
I just saw a sticker on a car the other day down the road driving, and it said, quit using your patriotism for your racism, or acting like your racism is patriotism, is what it said. So
Wow.
make the people fight themselves versus the original targets, the people that are in charge, right? Fake news,
Yes.
push of racism, fascism, sexism, every other ism, etc. Like we said, Ben, there's very few isms.
Yes.
Oh, and now we got patriotism, but against those seeking to end globalism in favor of nationalism, pride of heritage and culture, preservation of security and safety, is designed to keep you submissive. Why do Democrats deploy and use racism as their go-to tactic when an argument or narrative cannot be factually be sustained? POTUS in black communities pre-candidacy, POTUS in black communities post-candidacy. Reconcile. They want you divided, controlled, submissive sheep. Posse Commodus Act.
There you go, people. So he's giving a little thought out there, Posse Commodus Act. Wow, there's so much to ingest in that right there, what he just brought down.
Didn't I break that down in my video that, folks,
yes,
it would be our own people that are so-called patriots out in the streets, burning stuff down, flipping cars over. And what about the people that aren't partaking in that are at home like, oh my gosh, it is World War III on the streets, but it's being created by your neighbor. This is the same people who said, if Trump wins, there will be rioting in the streets. And we're like, oh, there's no proof of that. And then after Trump won and there was rioting in the street, if you took that guy's mask off, it was that same guy that told you there would be rioting in the street. And you're like, oh my God, it's you.
They're rioting.
It don't matter. I told you there would be. Yeah, I know you told me, but I didn't know it would be you doing it. So they were basically telling you what they were going to be doing if Trump won. There would be rioting in the streets. I mean, now they claimed World War III, financial meltdown, all these.
Well, think about that. Yes. So we've had a barrage of a lot of narratives very recently going around the internet about this is it, this is the one. And you think about, well, we went over the right of habeas corpus and how that's not should be suspended. And then we just talked about the Posse Commodus Act in your last video. And so you think about these things that were put into place to preserve our God-given rights, that we hold these truths to be self-evident.
So what
now, when you have chaos that we can't control as individual people in small pockets like we've talked about, that the border agents can't control, the ICE can't control, and we need, well, like the National Guard. We don't need like the Air Force coming in and dropping bombs in Texas. We're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about the National Guard, military being able to assist good men and women.
What do you, if everyone was to wake up and know what we know, then you wouldn't partake in that. You wouldn't be out there rioting.
Yes.
There would be no need for any of that crap. So this is on the people that like stop by and chat. And this is all garbage. They're going to be the ones that are out there rioting, creating a situation that we don't want. So if everyone could wake up, that'd be awesome. It's crazy.
No, I agree. I mean, those, the bottom line is those of us who are nationalists because we care about our nation, we care about the sovereignty of our country, we care about the people inside of it. I'm not going to be the one, and neither is anybody here, and I know none of our people watching now or our subscribers are going to be the ones going out there going, ooh, okay, martial law, I'm going to go out and steal a bunch of couches and a big screen TV because I know the police won't come.
When you see people go down, or when you're going to be throwing parties.
I mean, you're talking about keeping your house and your own property safe and doing the right thing. And, what do we always talk about? Preparation favors victory. And so if you're all by yourself at home, preparation, favors victory. So take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your neighbors, then take care of your neighbors' neighbors. You see how that works? And if we all do that mentality, then we don't want to go riot. That's like only gas station in town.
Woodman,
let's go beat it up and burn it.
Is that what you think's going on here? I'm going to ask Woodman this, and then we'll go from there. Woodman, do you see a general push in the mainstream narrative to almost like, the Democratic agenda of, and I don't mean to say it that way, folks, but it really is. It's just the left and their persuasion in the media and what they cover to, we don't need ICE. We don't need to enforce a wall, even though you have Border Patrol agents saying barriers, you can't secure an area without some kind of, and now they're also, by the way, hitting Trump up on, you said cement wall solid. Now it's steel. And he had to come out yesterday and said, well, if you need to know, steel is actually more solid than cement. You could have a 12, inch thick cement barrier, and we have steel. Steel, if you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, is actually a lot stronger. But I think again they're hitting them up on bull crap, because as somebody that doesn't know you and coming in, maybe you're just like, oh yeah, we need a wall down there. But then you get talking to the experts, the people that have been on the wall for 20, 30 years down there. And they're like, well, it'd be real nice to have a barrier we can see through on both sides. That way we could see what's coming in this area anyway. And you would be like, no, we're doing a solid wall. I already said that, so we're sticking by that. Or to be like, well, I hear you. You're the expert. I generically was saying a wall, some kind of border protection, and we're going to take your advice, and I'm going to mold to, yes, we'll go still in this area and maybe still in the whole damn thing. I don't know, but what is your, why do you think they do this, basically, Woodman? Why do you think that they're pitching, we don't need border patrol, we don't need ICE, we don't need a wall?
Check this out. We don't know exactly for sure how much, I'll say it, Democrats are involved in this human trafficking and the drugs that going across the border of Mexico. We don't know, but it's got to be something important, because they've been fighting for a long time.
And some Republicans. This does cross both sides. I think we could all agree on that. Deep state, we'll call them the deep state.
I would agree.
Well, what I'm getting at is they want to keep that action going. Okay. Well, he wants to work them out that we're going to have a wall, and then of course Trump said, and they're going to pay for it. Of course, I'm sure they talked to people down there, and it's good. So now they're not going to pay for the wall. Well, now they're doing this thing about they organized, and I'm sure I'll say it, they organized all these peoples to come up from Central America to come into our country. Now, technically, the way the law is written, when you have that many people coming up to the border, and if we say to the border, you can come across, but you've got to come through the system, and they say, screw you, we're coming anyway, which was said. That is technically an invasion. Any more than 3 people doing that, that's an invasion. And that's
I agree.
law.
I agree, brother. Yes.
Now here, okay, so now they got to see that Dems are doing everything to sway things around. Now they got control, right?
Or just the House.
Right. But it's, that's something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're pulling strings out. They're pulling people out about, remember so-and-so said this and that, whatever. Now these are all the Democrats saying it. They're going on this fake news, I'll call it, and they have already got, it's like theatrics. They've already got the whole scene set. You know what I mean? So now they got the whole American people watching this movie.
You're seeing it now, aren't you, brother?
Yeah. Oh.
I just want to wake up people, because this is going back to my statement about apologizing to the civilians for sometimes I may not come off correctly with my statements, because I'm used to talking to veterans about this kind of stuff, because civilians have never seen it, so they don't understand about. They'll sit back and go like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" I'll give you a good reference, and then I'll leave that point alone. I went, and I'm not getting in trouble for this. I went to the VA for my medical stuff.
Yes.
The last thing I let the VA do was give me a staph infection. Okay. Well, I'm at civilian doctors now, and one of the woman, and she said something about the VA. I said, well, no, I'm not doing the VA anymore. Well, why is that? I said, well, because, they gave me a staph infection. She's going like, oh, no, that's not possible, because you're supposed to do this, to clean up all the equipment. I said, lady, you don't understand. We're talking about the VA here. What I'm trying to get at is you're talking about a civilian, how they look and think, and then you got us, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we talk and think in different ways. They really honestly think that just because it's supposed to be done that way, it is. And you both know that ain't.
And
No,
I
I
think
agree.
I can agree with that 100% exactly. When you already look at life through a certain lens because of a certain thing, you can never go back and try to look at it through a different way. So again, we do the best that we can for all what's going down and how to get this information across because, like you said, there are a mass amount of individuals who have no idea what rights and what they've given up without even knowing it, all for the guise of their safety. And people are waking up on a massive level, and I think that those of us who really truly know, who've been into this for so long, it's almost like what old Bill Cooper said. I almost don't have time for your feelings because I'm trying to get this information out to as many people as possible because this is so important that I can't take time for how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting
I
that
would,
we try to do
it's
the
like
healthy
the saying,
balance.
I didn't come here to make any friends. I came here to wake you up. And the other thing
Yeah.
is, but we're gonna make friends. There's gonna be people that
Of course.
but put it that way. Bill Cooper said it. I hope I make you angry. I hope you're really upset at everything I'm saying, and it makes you so mad that you go and look into what I'm telling you and try to prove me wrong, and come back and tell me I'm wrong on something, and then we can actually look at that. But I think you're going to be awoke in your experience of trying to go and dispute the things that we're telling you. You're going to end up waking up and being on board.
Airborne.
Oh yeah, hey, there you go. It's amazing times we live in right now for the fact that what we're catching on to and what we're realizing and what's happening in our government hasn't happened for 80, maybe I would go so far as to say the last 100 years. Almost two full generations hasn't seen this type of corruption and deception at the largest scale and a rampant overtaking of literally the United States of America.
Yeah.
And
From
we,
the
the
30s
people.
From
Yes.
the 30s on. Yep.
All right. You guys want to take a few comments? There's lots of positive comments in here, Woodman. People saying, hey, welcome, Woodman. We love you. And we'll go
Give a
few more
shout
minutes
out,
here.
Woodman. Little closing thoughts on what you think about what's going on the last couple Q posts and what you think we have maybe for the future here. What do you think, Woodman?
Well, I don't have any input only because I'm computer illiterate, so I have to have somebody come over here to open up that thing so I can look at it. And I'd have to come over to Mike's house, kind of dig a little bit or do some garage talk, dig a little bit and stuff.
Yeah.
I have picked on some of my friends, and I have to apologize for that. Like I say, computer illiterate, I'm lucky to turn the thing on and off. So they come over. There's a guy over today, kind of helped me get all situated. Mike tried real hard, but it's kind of hard from him not looking at me or what my fingers are doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You're good, brother.
I'm an old fuck,
People said, "'Tis the season, swing for treason." Do you have any closing good words, basically, if you want to give a closeout of the people that are maybe new today, or people that have been following us for the last 6, 7, 8 months, whatever, of how you feel things are at? Like, what do you have this is just your opinion, but what do you think things are at right now? Are we on the verge of, do you think tribunals are already happening secretly? I've been going over some articles for military tribunals. They might be happening. They would be secret. We wouldn't know. Seems like there might have been a round of arrest already. But anyway, closing words of encouragement. We have a couple hundred people in the room right now listening in, so go ahead and talk for a minute if you want.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say other than I strongly urge everyone out there to find an honest veteran, or go to American Legion or VFW, or DAB. Uh, Sit down and listen to what some of these people have to say about what they went through, and then try to sit down and visualize how that would interact with what's going on today, because um, everything does change from day to day, year to year, but veteran structures don't. So they have a lot of knowledge. They may not be perfectly correct all the time. We apologize for that. All we want to do is put out the truth. I think we have certain avenues where we can actually check and make sure the information we give you to the best of our ability is true. Because once you spread the wrong word, once the word is out of somebody's mouth, it's already out. You can't suck it back in. You can't, no matter what you say, you can't turn it around. So I just hope people understand the severity of this. And yes, you're probably going to, at one point, when you start getting in pretty deep, you may have to kind of watch what you say to certain people, because they'll use that against you, your group, or what have you. I guess point being is, number one, stay truthful. Number two, remember what country you're in. Number three, pay attention to the people that have actually served time, laid their lives down to keep this country free, not to have our government run over us. We are the people, and we are strong. Airborne.
So,
amen.
Wow.
Amen. I give you some of that right there.
We'll let that be the.
That was it. Yes,
brother.
I can. That is our closeout.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get back here together later on this evening if everyone's up for it and time permits. We're going to shut this one down, folks. It's been a blessing. Woodman and Ben, some of my best friends, solid Patriots. Listen to these guys.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah, this guy's awesome. This guy's awesome. This guy's awesome.
This guy over here, let me tell you.
Somebody asked if Woodman has a channel. Ben has a couple channels. We got Legacy Truths. You'll see him posting, and he's got R&D. Woodman will probably create him one eventually. He's just getting into this right now, so I know folks are anxious to start following Woodman. He's probably going to have videos coming out on his own. He's going to be very capable to do that here real soon. He's just going to get his speed up on just doing what he's doing now. Eventually,
and I
think he will have his own channel.
Well, and like we said, we've told you guys many times the team that we are trying to assemble around the Patriot Hour, the Patriot Tech, just a bunch of good, honest veterans, researchers, individuals, and this is our team. And more, as you can see, it's growing. It's becoming more versatile. The knowledge that we get from Woodman, the knowledge we get from Mike and even myself, and the things that our perspective, our optics on the certain situations can always be a plus. And just know that we're always constantly striving to, just grow our team. And with the help with you guys and everybody coming, this is amazing times we live in. And I know that with people like this guy here and this guy over here, it's awesome.
All right, guys. All the people out there in the room, thanks for joining us. We love you, Patriots. It's been the greatest times of our lives, giving you guys the truth.
Hey, by the way, hang on a minute.
Do it up, Woodman.
Woo.
Can you see it?
Hey, get the Q pen.
See that?
Nice,
That's a
nice.
Q.
Now that
Did y'all
coupled
cover the
with
drops?
this bad boy right here.
Yes.
All
yes, we
right.
did cover the drops.
You know it, brother. You know it.
Look at that.
Airborne.
Here's mine.
Get him
Everybody
up.
just
There
got
you go.
red pilled.
There it is, but bam.
There we
There
go.
it is, people.
It's got to be a red pill like that,
All right. See you guys soon.
All right.